Hello! Welcome to the Chirp YouTube channel. My name is Christy. I am your friendly online speech language pathologist and specialist in children's communication development, including, of course, behavior, because behavior is just one type of communication. Today, I'm going to give a little bit of information about a very special topic that I mentioned in a very recent video, that one. I'm going to talk about the zone of proximal development. I mentioned this in my video about sensory aversions and realized that I probably needed to address this in a little bit more detail because it's such an important concept. I talk a lot about monitoring a child's response and then adjusting our interaction with the child based on how the child is responding. And that is very important. And this is how we figure out the zone of proximal development for that particular child. We need to base everything we do on how the child is responding to what we're doing. The zone of proximal development is the sweet spot for a child to be able to learn. The child is not unengaged. The child is comfortable, regulated, calm, but we aren't pushing the child too far so that she falls apart, so that he runs away, so that she is crying. There is a perfect zone for learning, and that is the zone of proximal development. Most of the time, a child does not get to the zone of proximal development alone because they don't know how to. She's not monitoring herself. You need to monitor her. Here are some examples of the kind of ways that we can help a child to get into the zone of proximal development for that particular child. These are examples of what in many fields around child development is called scaffolding. Scaffolding is when I know a child can do this thing, but the next developmental skill that I want her to learn is at this level. She cannot jump this distance alone, so I need to help her jump to the next level. This is like I can wash a window at ground level. I can't wash a window on the second floor, so I need a ladder or a scaffold. That scaffolding is what I do to make sure that the child is not freaking out. I'm not expecting too much from the child and therefore crushing her little spirit, but I'm not just letting things go either. I am pushing a little bit, enough that the child's able to grow and develop and learn, but not so much that the child is falling apart from frustration. One of the easiest ways to visualize this concept is in the motor development area that we all know from children. It's very easy to see children's motor development. We see them first when they're babies learning to sit or turn over, and then of course they crawl and walk and all of these different wonderful things that children learn to do when they're still quite young. And of course there is riding a bike. Well, riding a bike requires a lot of advanced skills. And if I know a child can sit on the bike with her feet on the ground, but I also know that she's not capable yet of pedaling and keeping herself upright, what do we do to get her in the zone of proximal development so that she can teach herself that balance and that correction and learn pedaling at the same time? It's too much to learn it all at once, but we have a tool for this. It's called training wheels. We train children to ride a bike using a scaffolding technique known as training wheels. The training wheels help the child learn a more advanced skill without having to leave the zone of proximal development and become overly frustrated or putting herself in danger. It's kind of dangerous riding a bike. I have bike riding injuries myself. It's not my favorite sport. Training wheels are very helpful for children learning a more advanced skill. Another area where we can help children by providing scaffolding is in the social and emotional area. If my child is crying but doesn't know how to express his feelings, I notice that his toy is broken and I say, I feel sad, my toy is broken. I model for the child what the child could say in order to share that emotion, in order to express an emotion. I do the same kind of noticing and commenting on other people's emotions. Oh, look, Brendan fell down and has a scrape on his knee. He feels sad and he's got an owie. We could help him feel better. Let's go get a bandage. I can help this child recognize someone else's pain and sadness, and I can help the child learn how to respond appropriately in a pro-social way by scaffolding. One of my favorite areas to provide scaffolding support is, of course, communication, because this is my area of expertise. Communication scaffolding strategies are varied and wonderful. The ones I use the most are visuals. So for example, if we have a child who is nonverbal, we might teach the child how to use visual ways of communicating. A visual communication book, little visual cards that the child can hand to us when he needs something. These are not going to be just automatically picked up. There's a whole system for teaching how to communicate. I have a kind of an old series about that right there if you are interested, but I will put links down below also. And I probably should do an updated version of that series soon. But this is a way to scaffold for children who communicate without any words. We want to help them get to the next level where at least they're communicating something. It doesn't have to be verbally. We just want kids to be able to express themselves. And if a child is not doing that very effectively, non-verbally, then perhaps we can add another layer of advanced skills in there by providing the ability to use visuals. And of course, we can provide scaffolding in the area of sensory needs. You know, I talk about sensory stuff a lot on this channel because sensory seeking and sensory avoiding behavior are such a huge thing for us to deal with, parents, professionals, everybody, because we're not very well informed usually about these topics. Please watch that series right there about the 9 sensory modalities if you haven't already. And let me tell you that if a child is not functioning very well because her sensory system is either understimulated or overstimulated, it might be a combination of both in different areas, then we need to find ways to help that child get into a calm and regulated state so that she is ready for learning. And you can learn more about that in that series that I just pointed you to up there about how to address those sensory needs. That is how we scaffold. That is how we help children jump from one level of ability to the next level. We help them get into that zone where the skill that they are practicing is available to them because they can do what's required of them. If it's too easy, the child isn't learning anything at all. And if it's too hard, the child either tunes out or leaves or displays some sort of challenging behavior. It's our job as the adults, the grown-ups in the situation, to find that perfect zone where we know the child is being challenged, but not too much. And we can use our scaffolding techniques to make sure that that's the case. Thanks for being here to watch this video today. Don't forget, come back next time and we will talk about some more fascinating things related to child development and communication. Talk to you soon. Bye.